Welcome back to Inside South Florida. Well, here's hoping you never need an attorney, but if you do, perhaps Peter Ticktin is the man to call. Here he is with what you need to know about your rights as South Floridians. Peter Ticktin, good to have you on the show. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
You can't turn on the TV or anything without seeing your face, so it's nice to see you here in person.
Well, it's truly a pleasure.
All right, so much to cover, including this really exciting new program that you have. We're going to get to that.
Yes.
But for those who don't know, tell us a bit about your firm and what you specialize in.
Well, it's the Ticktin Law Group, unless you're board certified, you're not allowed to use the word specialized.
Okay, all right.
So I may be certifiable and board some of the time, but I never bothered to specialize in one particular field.
Gotcha.
So, we've done everything through the years. I mean, general litigation. I've had a courtroom TV trial once upon a time. We've had numerous appeals, been to, in many cases in other states as well as Florida. Mm-hmm. And basically it's general litigation.
Okay.
So, business litigation, contract disputes, but it's also personal injury cases. I used to do medical mal cases, but leave that now for other firms that we refer those to. But for the most part, it's just about any kind of litigation other than criminal.
Tell us about this courtroom TV trial.
Oh gosh, that was when I had a 7-year-old child. They forged the mother's permission to take his organs, and he wasn't even brain dead.
Oh my.
And that trial was in Fort Myers, and we were successful in
the hospital forged it?
The organ procurement specialist of the University of Miami, who is located in different hospitals around the state, she was the one that forged the permission. Yeah.
Wow, that's a stunner.
It was horrible.
So you've done this for a number of years. Are you ever surprised? Because I would imagine even that might surprise you. It shocked me. Do you get surprised sometimes?
Well, we've got some major things on the go here. We had one case where Walmart kind of bolstered their urgency to the police when they had a not a trespasser, but a shoplifter in the store. And by doing that, they decided that he should get the death penalty. They basically gave the police the impression that he was armed and dangerous. And
Which he was not.
No, and he had a bum leg. And so when they stopped his car and told him to get out, they said, put your hands up. He put his hands up. They said, open your door. He opened his door. And they said, get out. And when he went to lift his leg to be able to get out of the car, 20 bullets went through his head.
So 20? That's a lot.
He was, I would say, surrounded, except the police would have been shooting themselves. So they're basically in a position where there were a lot of guns going off at once. Another case we've got now where FP&L had a leak of some coolant, and my client was in charge of the reactors up there, and the head of the nuclear division was more concerned about his bonus than public safety, and ordered him to start the plant up, even though he wasn't allowed to, and he said that they'd have to fire him to do it, and ultimately his bravery cost them the job. They shot the messenger. Mm. So that's a surprising case, and so we've got some very interesting litigation. I could go on.
Right. I'm sure you could. You should save it for the book.
Perhaps.
Right.
But for the most part, what we do is, we've got 27 lawyers in the firm, and we take care of the needs of the public. I mean, that's what we're here for. So, look, being a lawyering is basically a service industry. And most people think, oh, you've got to have this lawyer, have to have that lawyer. For most things, whether it's preparing a will or a simple suit for collection or defending against certain things, you need good, competent lawyers, but you don't necessarily need Clarence Darrell or even myself or the likes of me. There are plenty of really good lawyers around here.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is most legal service really requires good service. And that's what our firm is about.
And you have a new program, Star Law.
Right.
It seems really interesting. Tell us about it.
Okay. Well, I was able to get the number Star Law, okay, from another person who had a Star number. He thought of me when he got his, and he got them to reserve it. As soon as I saw that I could get it, of course, I grabbed it because the possibilities are wonderful. And as a result, we're doing a major campaign. Mainly at this point just in Palm Beach County where we're testing it. We're getting a good response, but very interestingly, we're getting a great response to the ad, but from all kinds of people that don't need any legal service. I find it extremely peculiar because, I mean, if you're sitting there watching TV,
right,
and you're watching, let's say an ad comes on for air conditioning, and it's the best ad you've ever seen for air conditioning service, but your air conditioner is working fine. Are you going to call?
No,
well,
probably not, no.
Well, we have people calling us that are just testing it. Does it really work on your cell phone if I dial? And we love it when they do, because it just gives us an opportunity to make more friends.
Maybe they know they're going to need you in the future.
It could be.
They're just like getting ready, the contingency.
And I don't even hope so for their sake, because you know, the fact of the matter is that you know, you don't really want to have lawyers in your life. I mean, maybe for an adoption or buying a piece of real estate, but for litigation is a terrible thing. It ruins the quality of your life. When you should be sleeping or up in the middle of the night, you know, thinking of wonderful things, you're thinking about the person you locked horns with, which is causing you great angst and misery. And you have to continue to always live in the past, because you have to remember the facts, remember what you had going on at that period of time. And as a result, it ruins the quality of your life. So we work very hard to get people out of litigation. I advise so many clients not to get into it, because once you're into it, and then the stakes start rising. Then the attorney's fees, which can be astronomical, although we are as cost effective as can be, we really do keep it down. But the fact, and we've got systems in place, you know, like a discovery department that does the discovery rather than the lawyers doing it at their rates. So there are ways to be cost effective, but even cost effective attorney's fees can be high. So, you know, once you're engaged and you're starting to run up those fees, or even the chance that you may have to pay the other side's fees, then sometimes you're so stuck in it that you have to win, which means going through the entire episode. And it's so much better to avoid them in the first place if you possibly can.
A bit off topic, I'm just curious, this landmark decision that the Supreme Court just handed down about gay marriage being legal now in all 50 states. I'm just curious, as an attorney, what your thoughts are on that.
Well, it's funny you should ask, because I was thinking about that. Because I'm in a mixed marriage. I'm married to a woman. Okay.
Right.
And I could never understand why we are discriminating in the first place against gays. You know, I mean, really, what's the purpose of that? Why deprive people of an institution that helps keep them safe, makes their lives more stable? There's no reason in the world for it except for hate. And that's no reason in the world. So it's just something I could never understand in the first place. You know, I've heard people joke about, gay people should be able to marry because they should be able to be as miserable as the rest of us.
Sure, right.
But you know, the fact of the matter is that I'm not miserable. I love my wife. I've only been married for 24 years, so you know, give it time, maybe I won't feel the same way. But you know, the fact of the matter is that it's a sensible decision. I'm glad that they came to it, 5-4, but they did it.
All you got to do is win by one. Right?
All they had to do was win by one. I just don't see how it hurts anybody. Okay, the fact that somebody else who has different preferences is allowed to be able to have that kind of stability in their lives. You know, the protections that you get in marriage.
So unfortunately, we're out of time. But as we say goodbye, how can people reach you if they want to ask you more about Star Law? Obviously, they can press that and get a hold of you.
On your cell phone, dial Star Law, and you'll get a live person.
And that's the best way to find you? Do you have a website?
Yes, legalbrains.com.
Okay. Fantastic. Peter, I've seen you a million times, but I've never met you. It's a pleasure to meet you.
It's a pleasure meeting you, too.
Okay, we'll have you back on the show.
Thank you very much.
You
Appreciate
got it.